Hello, my name is Mickey Markovich. I'm the Global Technical Support Director at Rosslare Security, and today we are with another recorded webinar on the newly released reader from Rosslare, the Multi-Smart AY-K35. The Rosslare AY-K35 is part of the Rosslare Multi-Smart series. It's the first one in the series. And the Multi-Smart and Multi-Technology series are innovative, robust, and sleek design features to each device. And Trust Readers offers versatility, all RFID types in one reader. Mobile Credential, support all mobile credential by Rosslare and mobile SDK. So we also support BLE ID, BLE admin, NFC ID on supported Android devices. And if you like to develop your own application, you can use the mobile SDK and implement Rosslare mobile credentials on your own application. Easy management of technology, migration, and Android installation. So if you want to migrate from 125 kilohertz to MIFA sector reader, and you don't want to replace all your credentials, you can use the AY-K35, still use your current credentials, and moving forward, you can start using different technology of credentials like MIFA Classic. We offer also secure credential using MIFA sector read, full reader configuration control through the BLE admin application. So all the configuration is done via mobile application, as I will show later on in the presentation. And for higher security and communication, the reader support the OSDP v2 protocol. So you can connect the reader to a supported controller over RS485 communication lines that support OSDP protocol. The Multi-Smart Reader series offer an additional 2 RGB red LED bulbs. The LED can be controlled via wires, audible buzzer, optical wall temper detection, so it detects if the reader is removed from the wall, IP68 water and dust resistant, IK9 vandal resistant, so this can also be marked as vandal-proof reader, UV-resistant plastic and made glass polycarbonate. And one of the new features coming with the AY-K35 is antimicrobial technology. This is an innovation antimicrobial technology that reduces the level of microbes on the device up to 99.8 devices. So you don't need to clean and sanitize the reader. It's done automatically. It's an innovative features that implement inside the reader casing and give you the features of reducing the microbes by 99.8%. What else we have in the AY-K35? Universal reader support. So all reader support, from Rosslare are fully supported in this reader, can be selectable. OSDP v2, including secure channel. General purpose capacitive button. I will explain the button later on in the presentation. MIFA Classic EV1 sector read. Support CSN credential types, including all 13.56 MHz multi-formats. Support 125 kilohertz, including ASK and FSK. So FSK is like HAD, where the reader format is based on the card and not based on the reader. So if your card is 26-bit, the reader will output 26-bit. If your card is 40-bit, the reader will output 40-bit of the protocol as mentioned on the card. And of course, mobile connection, BLE using the BLE ID, and NFC using the BLE ID application as well, support only Android devices with NFC. Reader description. So what we can see on the reader description, we can see the capacitive button in the middle. This is a touch button that can use for multiple purpose. We have the button LED bar. The LED bar lit on when you press the button. We're also providing a sticker for the button if you want to use it as a bell button. We have adjustable light bulbs on 2 sides of the readers that you can change the colors using wires today. Wiring of the reader. So we have red and black for power. The reader will need 12 volt DC, but can work from 5 to 16 volt DC. Data 0, data 1 used for weekend or clocking data controller. Green LED control, when it's grounded, it will modify the LED to green. Red LED control, when it's grounded, the LED will turn on red. Temper output will activate when the temper is exposed to light. Buzzer, the yellow wire, when it's grounded, the buzzer will beep. Blue and gray are the RS-485 used for firmware update and for OSDP communication. Shield wire for shielding, and a new pink wire. This is the output from the button. Can be connected to any controller input as an open collector. Reader configuration. What we can do with the BLE admin is to fully configure the reader possibility. So we can select the credential reader selection, which credential to read and which not. Light bar activation and level. So we have 3 levels for the light bar that will affect the condensity. We have buzzer activation and level, same as the light bar. Touch button, we can set the output format setting. We have the Rosslare keypad 6-bit. It will output a star sign, just like any other bell button we use on a Rosslare keypads. Touch button press duration, how long you need to press the touch button in order to get the activation. MIFARE classic sector setting. Output protocol and format configuration. Reader password. Highly recommended to change the password once you set the reader for the first time. And the reader name that will show on the BLE admin and BLE applications. AY-K35 support the following credentials. On CSN, we support ISO 1443A, so MIFARE Classic, Ultralight, Ultralight EV1, Ultralight C, MIFARE Plus, Plus SE, Plus X, Plus EV1, Desfire EV1, EV2, NFC NTAG, and card emulation. Card emulation is coming basically from Rosslare BLE ID application for NFC. 14443B, China National ID and more, ISO 15693, HID Atlas, PicoPass, iCode, Logic, and more. ISO 18092, Sony Felica, or Octopus, for example, and more. Secure sector on ISO 1443A, MIFARE Classic EV1, secure sector credential, 1K and 4K credentials. We will continue with more credential supporters. So we have 125 kilohertz, ASK, EM, TEMIC, FSK, like HID, support region 26, 32, 34, 35, 37, 40, and 48 bit formats. As I say, on FSK, the format is based on the card and not on the reader. So if the card is programmed in 48 bits, the reader will output 48 bits. If the card is programmed in 35 bits, the reader will output the 35 bits. When support credential mobile credentials, we have the BLE ID for iOS and Android, and NFC for Android devices only. Output formats, the AY-K support 2 output formats. We have weekend up to 64-bit. This is for CSN and ASK 125 kilohertz as well for mobile credentials. And OSDP, this is the protocol going on RS-485 lines, give you a high level of security if you use the OSDP secure channel with AES 128-bit encryption on the communication channel. The output formats are like the weekend, so you can select the output formats and will affect all credentials but 125 FSK credentials. How to configure the OSDP secure channel. So open the BLE admin and log into the reader. Under protocols, open the drop-down menu and select OSDP. Once select OSDP, set the required address and set the reader on installation mode. When the reader is on installation mode, the reader will wait for it, and the reader will start communicating with the controller, getting the card on the default OSDP secured key, and click save. One click save, click update, and the reader will wait for communication from the controller. Once a controller supported OSDP secure channel will communicate with the reader, it will start the communication, will set the custom key to the reader, and the reader will start communicate with encryption custom key. If no key will found, you will see the reader is not connected or not secured. So you can either set the reader to a secured mode or non-secured mode. Every time you set the reader to an installation mode, the reader will clear the custom key and go back to the default key of OSDP. The default key is a widely known OSDP key that's set by the protocol and need to be used in order to set the custom key. How to set a sector reading? To set a sector reading, there is a few things you need to know about sector reader. When you're using sector, you get a higher security level comparing to any CSN read. This means that your ID is secured in a dedicated location inside the card, while you can control the uniqueness of the ID and the specific location. The ID is protected by a unique key, 255 multiple by 6 available keys, giving you a wide variety of uniqueness of keys that's very hard to hack. It increases your security. It's giving you a way to make sure cards are not easy to duplicate, like CSN. For example, CSN on 3056 were easy to duplicate by even a mobile application. But sector, you need to know the details of the sector in order to duplicate. So you need to know the key and the location. And there is a match between the reader and the card. So the reader will only look at credential in a specific location. And you can easily program a new credentials using MIFA Classic 1K, 4K, and ASB01, the PC software for credential management from Rosslare, with two different desktop programming. One is the CPR26 and CPR27. Both of them are USB powered desktop programmers that can be used for secure credential programming. When you go into the secure reading setting, you need to set it to active. Once set to active, all 14443A CSN reading is disabled. So this means the reader will only look for a sector. And if you cannot find the sector, you will not read the credential. You can set the key A. It's a 6-byte X key for the sector. Default key is 12F. You can set the sector where the credential is stored. Valid entries are from 0 to 15 in a 1K card, and 0 to 39 in a 4K card. Block, the block where the credential is stored. Each sector includes various of blocks, so depend on the sectors. On sector 0 to 31 on 1K, it's 0 to 15, and on 4K 0 to 35, you have 3 blocks, and on sector 32 to 39 on 4K cards, you have 0 to 15, you have 16 blocks in the card. While sector 0, block 0 cannot be used, and it's reserved for manufacturer block. So you cannot either program credential into this block or read credential, a secure credential from this block. This is the default block from the manufacturer. This is, by the way, where the CSN is stored, the card serial number. Byte, start byte of reading. This is the offset. This is giving you the offset where to start reading. There is a 16 byte in the credentials, and the valid entry is 0 to 13, depending on the ID then. For example, if you're using a 64-bit ID, so you can have the offset between 0 to 8. Of course, this has to match the configuration of the card. So if the card is not matching this credential, this offset, you will not get the ID stored in the card. Some technical specification. So operating voltage 8 to 16 volt DC. A maximum current is 300 milliampere at 12 volt DC. Bluetooth bearing range from 1 meter to 12 meters. You can set the RSSI level on the BLE ID application, and this will reduce or increase your range. And this means that readers with low RSSI will not show, and only high RSSI will show, etc. Or if you look far, only low and not high. This is how it's doing the distance. RFID and NFC card read range. So we have on 3056 up to 7 centimeters, on 125 kilohertz up to 8 centimeters. LED buzzer control, die contact normally open, need to be grounded. Temper output and button output are open collector, 10 milliamperes at 5 volt DC. Current limit 500 ohm series resistance. So you need to follow this if you want to connect the outputs for the temper and for the touch button. Maximum cable distance to controller. So we get 150 meters with 18 gauge cable. This means that you must use a straight cable, shielded, not twisted, 18 gauge. OSDP. So it's using RS-485 communication. Is 1200 meters or 4000 feet. 2x2 twisted, shielded 18 gauge cable that need to be used, all tested, and right. Let's go to the demo, and I will show you how to control and how to set the configuration of the reader. Now we launch the BLE admin application. And on the BLE admin application, we can see two devices. One is the AY-K35 demo. This is the device I have here on the desk, and the other is just a BLE smart reader. It's 6255BT. So clicking on the setting, I will need to use my password. The default password is 12356778, and click login. On the main page, what I can see is I can see the address programmed by the factory. This is the what we call a MAC address, type of the reader, identify will beep the reader if I click identify. You can see the reader is beeping and it's flashing green light. It's a 10-second beeps. Reader name, if I want to change the reader name, just click a new name. Just click a new name and click save. Password to modify the password, and firmware version. This is the firmware version flashed on the reader, and give you the option to update firmware. Update firmware is not fully supported yet. We go to set configuration, and the application will load the reader configuration. What we can see the protocol. We can see if the reader is set for sector, credential reading standard, which credential to read, what to do with the general purpose button, light bar setting, and buzzer setting. Let's start with the protocol. So as I say, we can set any protocol selected. Any protocol can be set to reverse, so it will output the byte in reverse order, LSB via MSB, main significant byte less significant byte. Selecting the protocol can be selected with OSDP, clock and data aggregate. Setting to OSDP, we can set the OSDP address, we can set the firmware, and we can set the options. Let's go back to Wigan just for the presentation and go back. Sector. If I want to activate sector, I need to add a key. So key can be any combination. This is just a key. Which sector to read? Which block? Block again depend on the sector. If I will go to a higher sector, I should have a higher selection of block. And which byte, where the ID is stored. So what is the offset? Click in Save and Update. We have a summary of the configuration. Click OK. And the reader is updated and loading up. On any update, the reader will reset and you can start again. Credential reading startup, you can select and unselect any credential of the above. So any credential can be selected and unselected. While NFC, it's always active. General purpose button, we can deactivate or activate the general purpose button. And we can set which format will be output. As I said, when you're selecting a format, the output will output a Rosslare 6-bit Wigan format as a star sign, as a star button, or any other format will also output a star sign. And keypad press position, this is how long you need to press the button in order to get activation. Light bar, if the LED bars, the two LED bars are activated, and what is the brightness, you can change the brightness and it will reduce the brightness of the reader of the LED bars, and same from the buzzer. So level or off, low, medium, and high, this is the level of the buzzer. Here I set it to low because I didn't want to interface too much with the presentation. Another important feature of the BLE admin application is the fact that we can export and import configuration from one reader to another. In order to export configuration, we need to press the 3-button menu on the configuration screen and click Export. Reader configuration was successfully saved, and now we can go to another reader and load this configuration. So let's reset this reader to factory default reader, and click Update. This reset all the reader configuration. The reader has been reset. And now let's load the configuration we just saved. So again, load the reader configuration, click the 3-button menu, import. It will select the file we saved. As you see, sector now is enabled, and this is the sector we saved earlier. We will click Save, Update, OK, and all the configuration are updated. And this is the way to share configuration between multiple readers. So if you have multiple readers on site and you would like to share the configuration between of them, you can do it by export and import. In addition, configuration can be shared by email if you like to share it to other customers or want to keep them. You just click email. The configuration will be shared by email. You can send to Rosslare Technical support if needed, or you can save it in your office for documentation and understanding what was saved on a certain site. This is all about the BLE admin application. So let's summarize what we did today. We got to know the AY-K35, the new multi-technology innovative reader from Rosslare, how to configure the reader using the BLE admin application, enabling and setting secure OSDP channel, enabling and setting secure sector reading. At this point, I would like to thank you to joining me today and watching this recorded webinar from Rosslare. If you have any questions, any technical questions, you can probably find the answer on the Rosslare support portal, technical support portal at support.rosslare-security.com. And if you couldn't find your answer, you can email us at support@rosslare-security.com, and we will answer you shortly. So again, thank you very much. I was Miki Markovic, and hope to see you again with another recorded webinar coming from Rosslare.